So in this class, we are continuing what we ended in the last class. So in the last class, I think we have stopped down the Newton's second law of motion, right? What is Newton's second law of motion? Newton's second law of motion states that the rate of change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to the force applied on it. So Newton's second law of motion states that F proportional to delta P by delta T. And the delta sign indicates that the small change. Delta indicates a small change. Clear? So what is P? P is the momentum. P indicates the momentum of a body. So we have to know what is momentum. Momentum is nothing but the product of mass and velocity of a body. So P is equal to mass into velocity. P is equal to mass into velocity. So from this expression we can identify that momentum of a body or momentum is a property acquired by a body which is moving or which is in motion, right? So every body acquires a certain velocity when it starts moving. Until then it will be at rest. Clear? So momentum of a body is the expression which indicates the product of mass into velocity. As when a body starts moving, it acquires a certain velocity. So due to that velocity, it acquires a certain momentum which is the product of its mass and velocity. So in this quantity, in this expression, we can identify that mass is a constant one, right? Mass does not change with velocity. There is a change exception, we will discuss about it later. So the only quantity which will be changing is the velocity of the body. Clear? So velocity will be changing only when a force is applied on a body. Clear? Only when a force is applied on a body. So as we observe that as velocity, so we have to consider one thing also. Momentum. What is momentum? Momentum is also a vector quantity. Momentum is a vector quantity. Why is a vector quantity? As velocity is a quantity which depends on the direction, momentum also becomes a quantity which depends on the direction of the body. So momentum is a vector quantity. Vector quantities are quantities which depend not only on the magnitude but it also depends on the direction whether along the force or the motion is acting. Clear? So we can move on to the topic. So we know momentum is equal to mass and velocity. So considering the expression F proportional to delta P by delta T, we can write delta P is equal to delta mv, right? Mass into velocity. From this expression, delta indicates, as I already said, delta indicates a small change in any quantity. Delta x means the small change in x, delta y means a small change in y. Whatever be that, this sign indicates a small change in that particular quantity. So here also, delta P is equal, we can say delta P is equal to delta mv. As we all know that mass does not change with velocity, or a mass of a body does not change as it is in motion. So we can write m into delta v. Clear? Delta v indicates as there is only change in velocity, but there is change in mass. There is a situation where there is change. In the case of subatomic particles like proton, electron and neutron, etc. As the particles acquire a certain velocity which is equal to the velocity of light, as the velocity becomes or equal to the velocity of light. Usually it happens, some cases it happens, as the velocity approaches the velocity of light, the velocity of the particle approaches the velocity of light, we can see that the mass of the body starts to increase, or the mass of the body starts changing. So there are instances where there is also change in its mass, but in most cases we can write P into delta V, as mass remains constant and velocity keeps on changing. Clear? So delta P is equal to P into m into delta V. Clear? So we have written F proportional to delta P by delta T. We can change, as this is a proportionality symbol, we can change the proportionality symbol into an equation 1 by just multiplying a constant with this expression. Likewise, F is equal to K delta P by delta T, where K is a proportionality or constant which is multiplied into this expression in order to change the proportionality sign, in order to change the proportionality symbol, we have to multiply a constant with this expression. So as you multiply k as a constant, simply it denotes a constant. So f is equal to k delta p delta t, or k m delta v by delta t. Clear? So you all know what this quantity is. That is delta v by delta t, that which means change in velocity with respect to change in time, right? Change in velocity, rate of change of velocity is nothing but acceleration of the body. Is nothing but acceleration of the body. It is a. So we can write k delta v by delta t is equal to k m into a. If you consider k is equal to 1, we can write f is equal to ma, or f is equal to mass into acceleration, which is the famous relation, force acceleration relation. So from this expression we can write force is equal to mass into acceleration, or simply means the rate of change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to the force applied on it. Look, the force applied on the body. As we apply a certain force on the body, it creates a certain acceleration. As there is a certain acceleration, there is change in velocity. As there is change in velocity, the momentum of the body changes. So the rate of change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to the force applied on it. So now we can consider about these SI units and CGS units of these quantities we have discussed about. So first we have to discuss about the SI unit of P, which is the momentum. As P is equal to mv, mass into velocity. For mass, the SI unit system is kilogram. For velocity, we know it is meter per second. So kilogram meter per second, or in this is in SI system. In CGS system, it will be gram centimeter second inverse. So momentum in SI system we can represent it by kilogram meter per second. In a CGS system it will be gram centimeter per second. Clear? This is the units of momentum in SI system and in CGS system. In SI system and in CGS system. In SI system and CGS system. We have discussed about the units of SI system and CGS system of momentum, the quantity momentum. Now we are moving on to the SI and CGS system units of force. As we all know, force is equal to mass into acceleration. We know the unit of mass is kilogram and the unit of acceleration is meter per second square. So of course the unit of force will be kilogram meter per second square in SI system. Otherwise, we can represent this quantity as Newton. We represent this quantity as we call this quantity as Newton, or the unit as Newton. So the unit of force is Newton, or we represent it by kilogram meter per second square. Then what will be its unit in CGS system? Clear? So in CGS system, the unit of mass will be gram and the unit of acceleration will be centimeter per second square, right? Or we call that quantity as die. We call that quantity as die in CGS system. So in CGS system, the unit of force is gram centimeter per second square, or we can call that quantity as die. So next we are going to discuss about this, how we can correlate these two quantities or these two units in the same manner. How we are going to correlate this one. Clear? So 1 Newton is equal to 1 kilogram into 1 meter per second square. Clear? So if we convert this into grams, 1000 grams into 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter second square, right? So this will be equal to 10 raised to 5 gram centimeter second raised to minus 2. We know this quantity is what we call, which is die. So 1 Newton will be equal to 10 raised to 5 dynes. Clear? So 1 Newton is equal to 10 raised to 5 dyne. This is the relation between the quantities in SI system and CGS system. So 1 Newton in SI system will be equal to 10 raised to 5 dynes in CGS system. So what is 1 Newton exactly? So what is 1 Newton exactly? So if there is a body with mass, as we know, F is equal to ma. If there is a body, F is equal to ma, mass into acceleration. If there is a body with mass 1 kilogram, there is a body with mass 1 kilogram, and we apply a certain force to that particular mass, and the force exerts or creates an acceleration on the body which is equal to 1 meter per second square. That is, if we apply a certain force on a body of mass 1 kilogram and that body acquires an acceleration of 1 meter per second square, then we can state that the force acted on the body will be equal to 1 Newton, or 1 Newton is that particular force which makes an acceleration of 1 meter per second square on a body of mass 1 kilogram. We have seen the relation between or what is 1 Newton, etc. So now we are moving on to two graphs. Graphs are something which relates two quantities, right? It shows the relations between two quantities in a certain or in an easy manner. So this is a graph showing. Now we are going to represent a graph showing the relation between acceleration and force. So it's a relation connecting what is acceleration and force. So we know F is equal to ma. Under this relation, we can see that the force, as mass is a constant one, force is directly proportional, or acceleration is directly proportional to the force acting on it. So we can represent a graph where in the x-axis we represent the force acting on the body, and the y-axis the acceleration gained by the body. So from this relation it is quite evident that as the force increases, the acceleration also increases, or these two quantities are proportional. We obtain a graph with a straight line straight line with positive slope, which indicates as the force increases, the acceleration gained by the body also increases proportionally. Acceleration gained by the body increases proportionally. And there is another one which, as the force will need to be a constant one, the relation connecting the mass and acceleration is another one. We can see that as the mass of the body increases, if you represent mass and acceleration in a graph where mass is represented on the x-axis and acceleration on the y-axis, the relation is that as the mass increases, the acceleration gained by the body increases. If there is two bodies of two different masses and we apply a same force on the two bodies, we can see the acceleration on the heavier body will be lesser than the acceleration gained by the body of lighter mass, which means that the acceleration gained on a body is also quite dependent on the mass. If the mass is heavier one, or if a body is having a heavier mass, then if a particular force acts on it, it also depends on the mass. As the mass is heavier, the acceleration gained by the body becomes little bit lesser than for a body of mass lighter one, and a force of same kind is acting on that body. So this is what we are going to this is what I have thought of discussing with you. So today we are going to end this particular session with these topics. I hope you will learn these topics and stay home, stay safe. Let's see you in the next class.